We are talking about supplements to complement your microdosing practice. And the first and most well-known of those is dun, 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 lion's mane mushroom. Lion's mane mushroom. And I will share this exact brand that I take with you. I have enjoyed the quality of that. But lion's mane is an incredible mushroom if you've never read about it or heard about it. It looks kind of like a brain, which is fun. It can be wild foraged. And it can be difficult to get the 500 to 1,000 milligrams you will want to get to complement the microdosing practice if you're not getting it dried and in capsules. So fresh is a nice idea. You can also buy it powdered, and it's really actually very lovely tasting and froths into a latte or a hot chocolate like beautifully. It kind of makes its own like malted-y kind of flavored drink. You can warm it up beautifully in some plant-based milk with some maple syrup and cinnamon, and it's delightful. 500 to 1,000 milligrams of that, and it works like a BFF to the psilocybin. So it's supporting the neurogenesis that's happening in the brain. It can bring about more focus and concentration. And for the aging brain, it supports the neurogrowth factor, which is, the nerve growth factor, which is the NGF. You may have heard of this when they talk about the myelin sheath in the brain along the neurons. This stuff, lion's mane, is going to work directly in your brain to increase the NGF and the neurogenesis that's happening with this. They're like two peas in a pod, lion's mane and psilocybin. You can take this on your non-microdosing days as well. This can be a daily supplement. I give this to my 13-year-old as well. This is incredible for focus. Before you rely on medications for focus, try lion's mane. Any questions about lion's mane mushroom? Type them in the chat. Yeah, it increases the conduction of the stimuli between the cells. It's like, imagine that the neurons are just like so happy and firing so beautifully when you've got psilocybin and lion's mane in there. Okay, so that is my first suggestion, 500 to 1,000 milligrams per day. There are not a lot of side effects of lion's mane. To me, these medicinal mushrooms like lion's mane and reishi and chaga and turkey tail are generally considered to be very safe. We are aware that mushrooms, all mushrooms are their own kingdom, right? Fantastic Fungi, if you have not seen the documentary, is incredible. There are plants, there are animals, and there are fungi. And there's so much to be said for the medicinal and therapeutic impact. The dosage for the lion's mane is 500 to 1,000 milligrams. Start at 500, just like with microdosing, right? Start at the lower end of all of these dosages and increase. The brand that I use is Double Wood Supplements. I do not get a kickback from them. They had the highest dosage with the least amount of stuff mixed in at the best price. So for me, it's sort of a conglomeration of a few different values here, maybe about $24 or so for this 120 capsules at 500 milligrams each. I have to say, when I take 1,000 milligrams, I almost get a little jittery. I'm almost too focused. Like, well, I can't, there's no such thing as too focused for me, but it's just a little too activating for me. So if you're a sensitive person, definitely start lower. Okay, now on to the other supplement that pairs with the lion's mane and the psilocybin. So we got the two BFFs of the lion's mane and the psilocybin. If you add in niacin, niacin is vitamin B3. This is, you want flushing niacin. This can be a little uncomfortable as an experiment if you're going to do this. And the three of these together, the niacin, the lion's mane, and the psilocybin, is often called the Stamets Stack. Paul Stamets came up with this stack. That's the combination of the three elements to synergistically complement each other. So niacin, if you know anything about that, is a flushing agent. It causes vasodilation, that's the expansion of the blood vessels, and it kind of pushes the medicine to the ends of the nerves. So it moves everything, it moves the psilocybin and the lion's mane all the way to the end. so that the magic is happening where it needs to, kind of pushes it all through. It's a very interesting theory. Stamets believes that the niacin helps distribute the psilocybin and the lion's mane deeper into the brain and the nervous system, enhancing the healing potential. I mean, you read that and it's like, okay, how much is niacin? Very inexpensive, actually. I use this Source Naturals brand, and you want to start at 50 milligrams. These are 100 milligram tablets. I cut them in half to start, and you will build a tolerance, working your way up. Go to 100, go to 150, go to 200. You want to feel the flush. If you've never felt the flush from niacin, I always forget. It takes like half an hour, 20 minutes, and then I'm like, oh my God, I'm dying. Like, I have this moment where I'm like, yeah, like, what is happening to me? My heart rate starts going crazy. There feels like there's pressure sort of building a little bit. You can feel heat building on the surface of your skin. You may flush a red color, and it passes pretty quickly. It's wonderful for lowering cholesterol. I mean, it's a sin that they put people on cholesterol lowering drugs before trying this. It's really quite effective for lowering cholesterol. Yeah, Jane, you've probably used it and tried it and it worked. Yeah, it's like phenomenally effective. Interestingly enough, niacin can abort a bad psychedelic experience. So if you took too many mushrooms recreationally, perhaps, or you're not having a very good psychedelic experience, I believe the same is true for LSD, although somebody correct me, I do know it's true for mushrooms. You can take some niacin to flushing and kind of speed up to get to the end of the experience. Yeah, little known fact, college kids will stock up on some niacin in case they have a bad trip. Fun facts, right? Daniel says, check the niacin level already present in your daily vitamin. Yes, you may be taking some niacin, Daniel. Great point. Thank you for bringing that up. Most likely in a daily multivitamin, you're taking non-flushing niacin. They tend not to put the flushing type in the multi because folks will be all sorts of confused about what's happening, right? And that's why you really want to be specific when you get it, that you want the flushing form, and you're combining it on your microdosing days with the lion's mane and with the psilocybin. Make sense? Yeah, great. Fun, huh? Anybody think they might try the Stamets Stack? Why not? Yeah, nothing to lose. Just like with your microdosing practice, really notice I would build in maybe one supplement at a time in case you have a reaction that's undesirable, so you know which one may be doing that. Go slow. But Stamets says this about the stack. He believes it has the potential to initiate the next quantum leap in human consciousness. Okay then, right? Not just, I mean, the psychedelics is enough, enough of a quantum leap we're having in human consciousness. He really believes combining the lion's mane and the niacin with the psilocybin, that's when you really elevate. That's when you really expand. David, good question. Niacin on microdosing day only, not daily. You could take it daily. It's actually considered an effective treatment for depression as well. A dose of niacin every day can kind of keep the system out of a depressed mode. So maybe something for you to try, but you decide on that one. You can take it every day. You can. Or you can just stack it all up on your microdosing day. Okay, any questions so far? We've got the stack. And it sounds cool to say, I'm going to stack today, right? I'm going to do the stack. It makes it seem like you're just like living on the edge of something over here, right? All right. Next on our list, supplements to complement your microdosing practice. This is completely new. I have never talked about this before. And it has recently been brought to my attention that there is some evidence that psychedelics, and we could be broad here, all psychedelics can be depleting to the minerals in your system. Yeah. I spent the last entire month being like, I need to find some research. Not a lot of research. A whole lot of folks who have been working with psychedelics for decades are coming out to say this, to share this, that they're seeing common patterns, that there is a concern that A regular use of psychedelics can be depleting to the minerals in the body. It makes sense to me from an energetic standpoint because they are doing so much. There is so much that's happening, right? We burn through minerals. We burn through minerals when we're having like a serious work session and we're pushing ourselves, right? We burn through minerals when we sweat a lot, right? We burn through electrolytes. Like we have to keep up with our mineral needs. And because we have food and water and soil that is depleted of the essential minerals that we need, it's unfortunately a requirement, especially if you run sort of inflamed or autoimmune or chronic whatever, insert here. If you've got a diagnosis that's kind of always been chasing you, you need to add minerals back in. There's also this epidemic of folks using reverse osmosis water without remineralizing it. This is super duper depleting. You want to put minerals back in your water. I didn't bring my trace minerals up, but you can buy trace minerals. The brand is Concentrace. I buy the one that says 40,000 volts because I figure I want more voltage. And I put a squirt in my bottle of water every day. That's a way to remineralize your water from the minerals that are depleted and are meant to be in water. Tomorrow I am driving 45 minutes to a natural spring to collect some mineral-rich spring water because minerals are that important to me. And it's a fun field trip. And I can call it homeschool. Besides putting minerals in your water, I also take a trace mineral supplement. This is from Pure Encapsulations. I really like this brand a lot. It's quite affordable, and it's a chelated mineral formula. Iodine, zinc, selenium, manganese, chromium, molybdenum, boron, and silica. We need all of those minerals in tiny amounts. That's why they're called trace minerals. But just because we need them in tiny amounts doesn't mean they're unimportant. There are lots of brilliant practitioners that I have collaborated with over the years that have said to me, one of the commonalities in all of my searching around my chronic illness is mineral depletion is at the root of so many of our issues. We can be doing all the right things to get better, but if your minerals are not there, those are the spark plugs in the car, y'all, right? The car's not gonna go without the spark plugs, right? Well, does a car go without spark plugs, David? See, here I am trying to do a car metaphor when I know nothing about cars. Whatever in the car is most important to make it run, the engine will not run without minerals, okay? So give yourself back the minerals that are naturally already probably low for you. And if you are microdosing regularly, I'm about to start making this a recommendation for every new client that comes in to be supplementing minerals while microdosing. I don't want to see anybody become depleted of anything when they're on their journey to heal something, right? Let's not end up worse off than we started in one way. I do think that the major depletion of minerals that some of these experts that are saying this about the minerals is more has to do with large doses of psychedelics, really, truly. This is such a small amount and so concentrated. And I'm looking at everybody in this room who I know and know their health, and I'm just saying all y'all need minerals. So let's, I can tell you that right now, right? Another mineral that is needed that is not going to be represented as a trace mineral but gets depleted and burned off so fast it's insane is, drum roll please, won't be surprising, magnesium. Magnesium. Anybody else burn through copious amounts of magnesium and need, yeah, it's like, I can always tell like, oh God, I think I need magnesium. Like my muscles are tight, right? I'm not pooping. I'm having trouble falling asleep. I'm sort of restless, right? You need the magnesium to relax the smooth muscles in the body. If you really struggle with tension, constipation, anxiety, sleeplessness, restless legs, minerals and magnesium may really be a missing piece for you. Jane says, if I don't take my magnesium, I get muscle cramps at night. Like it's that instantaneous, right, Jane? Like you didn't take it that night and you got the muscle cramps. Yeah. So you're like just ahead of it, right? You're just ahead of it. I would say you could probably load up even some more, can experiment with that. It stopped her heart. Oh, good. She's at her right amount. It stopped her heart palpitations. You can overdose on magnesium. So, you know, it's not like a, let me just, oh, if I take more, I get the runs. That's how you know you're good, right? To bowel tolerance for magnesium. And it depends on the type of magnesium we're talking about. I am a big fan of mag glycinate. If we're talking about magnesium citrate, there is a lot of controversy about citrate as a usable form of magnesium that can cause the runs for some. It's great for putting you to sleep and getting you to poop if you're constipated, but glycinate is really coming out as the mag star. Yeah, David, you're taking glycinate too. It really is the star. It seems to hit the most notes for magnesium, but there are so many different types. Magnesium taurate, magnesium malate, magnesium sulfate. Well, that's Epsom salts, right? So that's the other thing. Jane, if you have if you're at bowel tolerance with the mag, you can soak in it. That is not necessarily going to affect the bowels. You've got Epsom salts. Anybody a soaker? I need twice a week. I need some Epsom salts. It relaxes all of my muscles and it feels so detoxifying because it is detoxifying. So get your mag, however you can get your mag. I recently discovered this magnesium lotion. Ancient Minerals is the brand, and this can be targeted right on muscles that need it. It's lovely. Or for kids at the bottom of their feet before bed, get them to get a little bit sleepy, right? Anything that gets them sleepy. Maybe 25 bucks here. Ancient Minerals. I really like this brand. They also sell a dead sea salt. Sodium chloride. That's not a magnesium. It's different than Epsom salt, but man, is it lovely to soak in, and doesn't that have some benefits? Julie loves her magnesium salve. I love that. You use it on your muscles? Yeah. Brilliant. On the feet, yes! On the feet. Feet are such a great conductor of this energy. So, any questions about using minerals in your body throughout your practice? Which mineral, hit me up, which method do you think you'd like to get some minerals? Putting some trace minerals in your water? Can you swallow a capsule? Are you gonna take some more baths to at least get that magnesium in? Look, suffice it to say, there are plenty of herbs and vegetables out there that are loaded with minerals. Like, eat your leafy greens if you tolerate them. That they are loaded with minerals. Food still has nutrients in it. I do not want to sit here and suggest that you eat crappy food and then just take a supplement. But the name of the class was microdosing and supplements, not microdosing and nutrition. So in addition to your nourishing diet, at least an 80-20 split there, right? You may need to supplement. How long do you soak in Epsom? At least 20 minutes, David, to get the full benefit. And I would say less than 40. If I go over 40, I start having some heart palpitations. It initially calms me down, and then I start getting like, wow, maybe just too much happening there. So 20 to 40 minutes, let's call it. You can also just soak your feet. 1 to 2 cups is the suggested dose. I put in like 5. So maybe that's why I get heart palpitations when I'm done. But yeah, 2 cups I think is a nice amount, and it's fairly inexpensive, although the price on everything seems to be going up. Epsom salts for the win. You can put your feet in them in a little bucket or a tub if you just want to watch your shows and get your soak in. They do move through the feet and move through transdermally quite beautifully. Look, I mean, just being aware of minerals, right? I drink a lot of Pellegrino. This is mineral-rich spring water, carbonated, in a glass bottle. I buy it by the case. This is my guilty pleasure. I drink 1 a day. I joke with my husband, and that just brings me back to my party days. It makes me feel like I'm holding an entire bottle of champagne. I just drink it out of the bottle. This is my party drug now, Pellegrino. I'm living wild. So minerals for the win. Yes, you in? Jane's gonna add it to her water again. Good, I'm really glad to hear that. I have a hard time drinking water now that doesn't have minerals in it. Initially, y'all, you might notice the minerals make it taste a tad bit salty. And I should say, you can put a pinch of a pink sea salt, a Himalayan sea salt, a Celtic sea salt. Take a pinch of salt and put it in your water. You just replaced your trace minerals. It's that simple. You don't have to spend money on a supplement if you don't want to. You wanna get a Himalayan salt, a Celtic sea salt, a real sea salt. That's where the minerals are. You're not buying Morton's iodized table salt to get your minerals. I don't think there's any minerals in there. They just added iodine in. FYI, you need your iodine. If you are not having iodized salt, you're either taking trace minerals or iodine, or you're putting kelp flakes on your food. They look like pepper unless you use too many, and then you start to taste the seaweed nature of them. But I can usually hide a little bit in my children's food. Iodine deficiency is no joke, and a lot of people have it, and it leads to thyroid problems. Yeah, we've got a major epidemic of thyroid problems. Any questions? Do I recommend drinking unchilled water? What a fun question. Yeah, I kind of picked up on that, you know, when I saw an acupuncturist for a while, that whole damp, cold thing really resonates with me. And ice too cold, like, first of all, I can't chug it if it's too cold, and I want to be able to like get it down there. But yeah, some people really like ice water. I like room temp. Probably not as sexy when it comes to the fizzy water. It'd probably be better a little bit cold, but what can you do? You decide though, what feels good to you. So minerals, if you really want to get a little more into this, there's something called the Root Cause Protocol, RCP. They have a website, they have a free download where you can get the whole sheet of all the ways you're probably depleted in minerals. They'll scare you half to death. They'll tell you you need to do all this stuff to rebalance your minerals. But the man at the head of that, Morley Robinson, is really quite brilliant and has put out some really interesting information. And I've met a lot of people who've done a lot of good healing, focusing on his root cause protocol and rebuilding their mineral stores. So food for thought for those of you that love to investigate and go deeper with your health. Any questions? Y'all are so fun. Real quick, let's talk about CBD and cannabis as a complement to microdosing. I do get this question quite a bit. Cannabis is a wonderful plant. We're talking about Delta-9. We're talking about a psychoactive impact. Weed, pot, marijuana, whatever you want to call it. I call it cannabis. That's the official name of the plant, the medicine. And if it doesn't work for you and you're still curious and frustrated about why it doesn't work for you, take much less of it. Most people are ODing it on cannabis. They're taking too much. It does make your heart rate speed up, which starts to feel like anxiety. It does make your thoughts connect in new and different ways, which to some people translates to, oh my God, everyone's looking at me kind of anxiety, right? Cannabis can create that paranoid feeling for some people. You'll want to look for a strain that is indica heavy, more indica based as opposed to sativa. There are two strains, predominant strains, although everything is sort of hybridized now. But the indica strain will be more relaxing if you don't like the up effects of cannabis. I love sativa. It helps me focus and I get into a creative flow. So you have to find what works for you. And it's a wonderful companion on microdosing days. And honestly, I really love it on integration days. So on those days off when I'm not microdosing, for me, the cannabis kind of helps me connect the dots that came through in the previous microdosing day or days. Kind of helps me feel the shifting that's happening. CBD is a wonderful companion to psilocybin as well. This is going to be non-psychoactive, and this will work on pain, inflammation, anxiety, and sleep. If any of those things are a variable, type in the chat if you have taken the CBD and notice that it does support you. Inhale or edible THC? Isn't that the question, David? So sad for me to say, the 20-year smoker in me that really enjoys the inhalation of smoke and the taste of cannabis as smoke, it really isn't good to smoke anything. Like truly the combustion that happens when we heat something so high and then inhale the smoke of it, right? Certainly better than nicotine and cigarettes in my opinion, but I'm back on a break from smoking again to give my lungs a break. June was an on month for me and I really felt it. So it really is up to the individual. I know plenty lifetime smokers who are seem just fine and do great smoking their weed. You can vape it, not a vaping oil, but you can take flower and put it in a vaping implement and have a better experience smoking that way without the combustion and the heat. So I do recommend eating it. The thing that happens is that it's all in sugary treats, right? And so some people are like, and then I want to eat 5 pot brownies, right? Because they taste really good. And then I get too stoned, or I don't like the ingredients or the sugar. You can find, and if you're in a legal state, which you are, David, lucky you, you can find cannabis tinctures. So just like you take your psilocybin as a tincture and your CBD as a tincture, you can take cannabis as a tincture. You'll want to hold it in your mouth for as long as you can. There's something about mixing it with your saliva that makes it more effective. You'd have to have a bong surgically removed, like my second wife. Yeah, it's a bubbler. Mine is a glass bubbler, but yes, yeah, it's there's really nothing quite like smoking flower in terms of the immediate relief for me. Immediate relief of nausea, immediate relief of pain, right? Immediate relief of existential crisis of the moment. It's like I can go from having a really hard time seeing what is great about my existence to taking a hit and feeling like the most blessed human alive. So it's quite a profound substance for me. And I'm going to go ahead and put a link to the shop. I hope that's the right link. Nope, it's not a hyperlink. Let me grab that. I want to turn off the, well, are there any final questions before I turn off the recording? I'm going to put a link to the shop. This is my private online shop. You are welcome to, why can I not copy you? Copy, there we go. You're welcome to peruse the shop. Certainly, if you're a current client, you can purchase anything you see in there. If you are wanting to be a client, you are welcome to order a sample, provided you are not taking an SSRI. That would be the only contraindication there.